Outstanding.
Welcome again to another tutorial video. It's about Eldorado there and thing. Well, today really want to talk about reverb again. And this particular one, it's a way how to really add we call space to your track. So for this particular tutorial, we're going to use a reverb plugin called Space. And it's a plugin from Avid. It's a native plugin only the Pro Tools. So anyways, for this particular track, this 2-track mixing, we're going to go down to the chorus and the lead vocal. So I'm just mute the background vocals and mute the rhythm and go turn off all of the effects, make it hear without the effects.
Fire speed better by your casket them down but the rust them still a chat shit.
With the effects.
Fire speed better by your casket them down but the rust them still a chat shit.
Effects without reverb.
Fire speed better by your casket them down but the rust them still a chat shit.
And reverb without if the other side effect them.
Fire speed better by your casket them down but the rust them still a chat shit. Fire speed better by your casket them.
So first and foremost, as you know, I always filter out the highs and the lows of a particular reverb sound. And I use the Space plugin, reverb module plugin with the libraries. So for this particular vocal, I use the Plates AMT 140 short 140A short reverb, and it sounds really good, but it's AMT reverbs are not sounds when I'm really particularly used to that sort of reverb, because every modeled reverb or every reverb will have a distinguished sound from it, especially like lexicon reverbs. They are also good, but for, as we said, for tutorial and dimension purposes, this particular one really come across very use at this particular vocal. So after I did this, I add Slate Digital tape machine and basically push in and out with a low tape speed, and everything else as is same way, because it has a really bright sound in which we really didn't feel it for this particular vocal, but for the space and width, that the depth of with what it has given this vocal, I really like it. But I think we did want to kind of get rid of a little of the top end of the vocal without even have to use the EQ. So we really use the tape machine in the sense of an EQ. So it helps me smooth out the reverb a little bit. So what I did practically after using it, I practically leave everything else as is, but I checked everything and realizing that there's no need for me to really fool around this. So I just leave it as is, and the preset that I have selected. And what I did was I add some reverb into it. So I'm going to play it without it again.
Fire speed better by your casket them down but the rust them.
And with it.
Fire speed better by your casket them down but the rust them still a chat shit. First one step to me, him a drop quick. Me no misfire when no see me aim target. Rifle a raise up like forklift telescope with the zoom now blood clot miss. Bust one head then.
And I've automated on some words with the chorus. So I'm going to play the instrumental so you listen and hear the effect of the reverb.
Fire speed better by a casket. Them don't bother rust, them still a chat shit. First one step to me, him a drop quick. Me no miss fire when no see me aim target. Rifle a raise up like forklift. Telescope with the zoom now blood clot miss. Bust one head then.
Okay. Some reason my keyboard just disabled and it come back on. Anyways, so you can really hear the space that it has given it thus far, and I'm really liking it. I'm really liking it. But after all these effects, you know, I added another reverb to this particular sound. I use REQ, that's Renaissance EQ2. I think why I'm really use two different EQ. I know the Renaissance equalizer, it has a distinguished sound. In conjunction, it works really well with this particular lexicon room reverb that I've used on approximately nearly all my mixes for room sounds. I really like how the room sound really sound in this particular lexicon plugin. So what I did, I have a pre-delay of 40 milliseconds, and the reverb time is 800 and something seconds. No, 0.800 and something. So it's in milliseconds, and I use the roll off around 7K, and the diffusion. The diffusion, I like basically how wide I really need the room and how many corners or creases that is in the room. So in your mind, you have to really think about it virtually from 4 to probably 12 corners. You really have to think about it that way on 100% mix. Pretty much leave everything as is, or you can use the medium space tiled room preset that I have selected and adjusted accordingly. So after that particular reverb with the effects, so I'm going to add back the effects. No, I'm not add it back yet. I'm going to play this reverb sound. Unmute it.
Fire speed better by a casket. Them don't bother rust, them still a chat shit. First one step to me, him a drop quick. Me no miss fire when no see me aim target. Rifle a raise up like forklift. Telescope with the zoom now blood clot miss.
Alright, one of the things I think you go ask why I use two different reverb. Reason being, I need one to give me space and make it sound more natural, because isolating yourself in a booth, it is not, we don't really hear things like that in our everyday life, so it sounds really unnatural, dry and unpleasant. So I use plate reverb, then all the effects, then being as all the effects mostly push dry signal on the dry signal or chorus signal, which is also dry, onto the vocal, it gets dry again, you know, to a certain degree. So I use a room reverb to kind of, you know, wet it up a little bit, you know, so it now sound dry and unnatural or unpleasant to the ears, or someone go listening to and say, oh, the vocal sounds so dry. You see, that are the first thing them go really identify about it. So in most cases I don't use a room reverb, but it is in my template majority of the time. I like use it on a background voice or ad-lib or endings, so forth, but not necessarily on the lead voice. So it's just for this particular vocal. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work on all vocals. Just a tutorial video how me really add space to my vocal or to this particular vocal. You know, me really add space to. But you can try it out and see what works for you. If it works, it works. If not, it don't work. But in most cases, I know it will work. It's not I'm playing out if game with it or something, but it's a way how to really get things really done in a professional manner, you know, if you get your mixes really right. Because a lot of people have problems with reverbs. Have a lot of problems with reverb. So I'm just here to really give you an insight of how and when and what type of reverb I really apply. I have previous videos with other reverbs. For this particular vocal, I did have to use this reverb because, you know, I tried a lot of reverb and it has not worked on it, although we delete them off here. So I did have this reverb on it, but I didn't really like how it sound. So I'm gonna play it.
Fire speed better, but you can't skid them. Don't bother rust them, still a chat shit. First one step to me, him a drop quick. Me no miss fire when you see me aim target. Rifle a raise up like forklift. Telescope with the zoom now, blood clot miss. Bust.
Never really like how this one did sound. It sound big, yes, and it has a lot of depth to it. But for this particular vocal, I wasn't feeling it. So go through my I had to go through my list of reverbs, and I finally come to a decision that using the space reverb for this particular vocal was the way to go, and I added a tape machine to it also to kind of add a sheen to it, you know, to get that pleasant sound. So thanks for watching again. Thanks for tuning in to another tutorial video. It's a boy Eldorado. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification button, follow me on Instagram. I have a WhatsApp group. It's a community for producers, beat maker, mixing engineer alike. Don't be afraid to join, and happy mixing.